Hello and welcome to another episode of Nothing Definitive. My name is Sam, and today I want to talk about some dating related stuff because I've read some resources over the years, just to, I guess, mentally prepare myself and, try and just, be better at dating. It is a skillful thing to go into it with no research and, no like preparation to me just seems kind of foolish. But one of the things that I haven't come across in regards to that sort of material is what about people like it always makes this assumption that you're already kind of okay with socializing, and it's not designed for like people who have real social anxiety, people who they need something more than like here's what to do once you have a date, or here's some cool ways to pick up chicks, right? Well, that's not really good information if you're really frightened of just socializing with people. So today I want to share this thing, 5 simple steps to increase your dating if you're really socially impaired. This is the baby steps to get into it, not just jumping forward. So hopefully it'll help. Let me know in the comments if it is helpful, if you're one of those people. Okay, so step 1. This is the critical first step. Find resources online to put your mind in the right state. So videos like this, there's tons of videos online. Watch like as many as you possibly can, even if they're redundant. Then read. When you're not watching the videos, when you're in a place where you can't watch videos, read something. There's PDF documents, there's books, there's whatever you can find, magazines with articles. Constantly surround yourself with information about this sort of a thing. This is the first critical step. You want to not just watch a video here and there, read a book here and there. That you need to completely surround yourself from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. You should have a daily routine that is filled with these sort of resources. And it should be one of those things where you're doing it so often that when you close your eyes and you go to sleep at night, you're still thinking about it. And you're imagining realistic scenarios and all the different things that could happen. Just for gamers out there, if you've played a lot of video games, sometimes when you say it's a Saturday and you get up and you're totally addicted to a video game and you play from morning till night, and that's literally all you did all day long. When you go to bed that night, a lot of times you'll have the image of that game burnt into your brain. You can't stop thinking about it. You're so addicted. It's so much fun that same effect, you need to have that with this, if you're really serious about wanting to get out there and conquer your social anxiety and actually meet some people. And this could even apply not even just to dating, but just to same sex, you want to go out and meet new friends or something. It's the same thing. You just have to completely consume yourself and stay diligent in your practice. It's got to be every single day, not just on the weekends, not a couple times a week. This is every single day. And I can personally attest to it working, because there was a time when I was very uncomfortable with that kind of stuff, and I got kind of just frustrated. I was like, screw it, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna research blah blah blah. And I did, and it totally did a 180 for me, just having resources in my life. I felt totally different about social scenarios and things, just by reading. Not even watching videos at that point. I was literally just reading PDF documents about all these different things, and it changed my confidence and everything. Step 2, map out your territory. So this is about learning to be prepared in your normal social locations, I guess. So where do you work, go to school, do you go to the gym, do you go to the grocery store? What are the main places that you go on a regular basis? And that's where you should start, but by thinking about each of them individually, and then where in those locations do you run into people that you're interested in dating? You go to the grocery store, there are people in the aisles. Sometimes there's a beautiful girl and she's in the aisle looking at something. what are you going to say to her? Because at some point, maybe not now, you don't have to get all stressed out like, oh, I have to go talk to her tomorrow when I go to the grocery store. No, no, no. This could be months from now or whatever, weeks from now. But start thinking about it now. What can I say to her? What could be funny? What could be interesting? Whatever. There's girls working the cash register. What can I say to her while I'm checking, getting my items checked out? I go to the gym a lot. I see girls working out there. I'd like to be able to talk to them. We can talk about fitness and stuff. Like, think about each of the locations and have it down pat. It should be like one of those things where you know it like the back of your hand, so you're completely prepared for it. The second thing is, don't just think about interactions for potential people that you could date. Think about even if you're not interested in meeting new people or making new friends, doesn't matter. This is a social anxiety thing. So let's also think about, for instance, I was at the laundromat like a couple weeks ago, right? And there were all these people in there, and everyone was just kind of sitting by themselves. This would be a good scenario for, even if there's no girls there and that's what you ultimately want to date some people. Well, go talk to the guys and just open up a conversation and see if you can have a successful interaction with anyone, young, old, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just start interacting with people, or at least have a plan for that. And then lastly, take notes. If you actually do go out and start interacting with people, it's helpful to just jot down, like, what were my thoughts, how did it go, and you can kind of gain insight into your own personal successes and failures. Step 3, contingency plans. So this is, now that this would be after you've mapped out your territory. This would be all the unexpected scenarios. You go out with friends and you just happen to go to somewhere you never go, or you don't go to the movies very often, but you happen to go to the movies, and as you're waiting in the line, just happens that there's some girls behind you and you want to open up a conversation with them. Or you're out hanging out with friends and you go out to eat, and your waitress is just, you don't go out to eat very often, but this time you did, and your waitress is really hot and you want to talk to her, or at least say something to make her laugh or whatever. Start to develop contingency plans for the unexpected, the unknown territories. And this can be helpful, like in conjunction, you can develop a methodology. Like, what are some step-by-step, oh my God, I just ran into this girl's totally hot, I gotta talk to her. What are some like simple topics I can bring up? What are some opening lines? You can reuse content, right? Like, just because you know that you've said this opener, like an opening line or whatever, say it worked on one girl at the grocery store, but now you're in a different situation. Yeah, you'll know that you've used it before, and that's kind of lame from a personal standpoint maybe. She has no idea. She's never heard it before. So you can use the same you can reuse your methodology over and over and over and over again. And then take more notes. As you're thinking about these things and actually having interactions with people, especially these ones where it's like completely unknown territory, take notes about it and like what worked, what didn't, that kind of thing. Step 4, simple interactions. So I already kind of mentioned this, but if you hadn't actually taken any action by step 2 and 3, it was just a planning phase. You're like the general of an army and you're writing down, mapping out your territory and all these different strategies and things. This would be where you definitely want to start taking some simple interactions. And this could just be totally harmless. There's no goal here. There's no, you're not trying to date anyone, nothing. This is just you going to these places that you've mapped out and starting to interact. Just start with people you're comfortable with. Maybe it's some old lady because you're like, oh, she's like my grandma. There's no, I have confidence. I don't have to worry about anything in this situation. Talk to her. That's fine. Just talk to her, have a successful conversation. And then you can start to branch out from there. And don't try and get phone numbers. Don't try and get a girlfriend. Just get someone to smile or laugh or just have an interesting conversation. Maybe learn something about someone. Every little interaction like that helps you take a step forward. And if you have real social anxiety, this is the way to do it. Like really little things. Even if it seems kind of silly, like you you could even go smaller and just you help someone and you don't even really say anything to them, but they thank you and you smile and they smile. Like, that's still a successful interaction, right? Really, really subtle, but at least you're doing that. And the point of it really is that you do it on a regular basis. See, the problem is that I think you can have these successful, simple interactions, but you have it on Monday, and then you don't have another one until the next week. That's not really that helpful. You need to like literally have these simple interactions and successful interactions on a daily basis. So put yourself in a position where you can find at least one person per day to successfully interact with. And it could even be friends and family, really. But you definitely should start branching out at some point. Don't always just stay there or you'll never make any progress. And lastly, once again, take more notes. And then step 5. Hopefully by this point, as you've slowly developed this and you've kind of climbed out of your social anxiety, you can go all in and you can have explored these familiar territories and these uncertain locations, and you can have found some people that you can basically choose your target, I guess you could say, and try it. Go in and open up that conversation that you've been wanting to for so long and see what happens. And just go all in. Hopefully it works. And if it doesn't, don't get too discouraged. Not everyone is looking to date. Some people already have someone in their life, or they're just not interested, or whatever. Don't get too discouraged if you are rejected. It happens all the time, and it's not that big of a deal. And hopefully by this point, you've kind of gained some social confidence, so it won't be as discouraging, I guess. And I guess the last point on this slide is don't settle for the first successful interaction. I just put that because I have a feeling there's a fair amount of people that they get lucky maybe, or they just happen, into a situation where she talks to you first and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And you capitalize on it. I was trying to think of the word for a sec. Capitalize on that situation, and suddenly you have a girlfriend, and then you kind of forget everything you've learned, and then she actually turns out to be totally evil, or the relationship it's okay, but it's not super optimal. You're not really that compatible, but you settle for it anyway. Next thing you find yourself married to her, and then you're divorced a few years later. That could actually happen, so try not to settle. Play the field a little bit. You don't just go all into one person, but lots of people, I guess. Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful. Just really ease into it if you have trouble with that. I really don't see a lot of that kind of information disseminated in dating articles and things like that. Also, this is like a teaser sort of a video for a future one that I want to do. I actually have a ton of content in this field, and I want to create a large slide that really goes into detail and stuff, but it's a work in progress, so stay tuned for that. I will be uploading it in the hopefully near future. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing. That helps a lot. If you did not find it useful, please leave a comment and I will consider it. So thanks for listening as always, and see you next time.